The dirty truth is this. Most pirates did not want a fair fight. A fair fight was stupid. A fair fight broke masts. It ripped sails. It smashed cargo. It killed the carpenter. It killed the pilot. It killed the surgeon. It could leave the winners standing on a damaged ship with a prize that was taking water in the middle of the ocean. So when you picture a pirate battle as two ships trading cannon fire for hours while men swing from ropes and duel in perfect little circles, stop. That was the movie version. Real pirates wanted something colder and smarter. They wanted the other captain to look at the flag, look at the guns, look at the crowd of armed men on the rail, then decide that surrender was cheaper than being brave. And here is the real story. A pirate battle was not supposed to be a battle. It was supposed to be a robbery that ended before the first man got cut. The first weapon was not the cannon, it was information. A pirate crew did not just wake up one morning, see a sail, and scream attack. That could happen. But the good crews hunted with patience. They watched shipping lanes. They hung around ports. They talked to prisoners. They questioned pilots. They listened to tavern rumors in Nassau, Port Royal, New Providence, Tortuga, Madagascar, the Windward Passage, the coast of Carolina, the waters off West Africa. A merchant ship was not just a shape on the horizon. It was a question: what cargo does it carry? How many guns? How many men? Is the crew paid? Is the captain hated? Is the ship fast? Is it alone? Is it part of a convoy? Is there a naval escort nearby? That last question mattered more than almost anything. Pirates loved merchant ships because merchants were usually built for profit, not war. A merchant owner wanted cargo space. He wanted fewer crewmen because crewmen cost money. He wanted speed if he could afford it, but he did not want to pay for a floating fortress. A Navy ship was different. A Navy ship had disciplined gun crews, more trained sailors, more Marines, more punishment waiting on the other side. Pirates were criminals, but they were not suicidal. If the target looked too strong, they left. That is why smaller pirate vessels were so useful. A sloop or brigantine could be quick. It could work close to shore. It could slip through shoals and shallow water where a larger warship risked grounding. Along the American coast and around the Caribbean, this was huge. A pirate did not always need the biggest ship. He needed the ship that could catch the prey and escape the hunter. Think about the map for a second. A merchant coming out of Jamaica, a sugar ship moving from Barbados, a coastal trader off the Carolinas, a vessel heading through the Windward Passage between Cuba and Hispaniola, a slave ship near Sierra Leone, a treasure ship moving from the Indian Ocean towards Surat. These were not random targets. These were moving paychecks. The sea had roads. Not roads you could see, but routes made by wind.currents, ports.assassins, and money. Once a pirate saw a sail, the battle started long before the guns. The first stage was the chase. This is the part most movies rush through because it is hard to make wind direction sexy. But wind direction could decide everything. A sailing ship could not just point anywhere and go. It had to work with the wind. If the target had the weather gauge, that meant it had the better wind position. It could choose more of the engagement. It could run with cleaner air in its sails. It could force the pirate to waste time beating up wind. If the pirate had the weather gauge, the target was in trouble. Distance mattered. At first, the target might only see a sail on the horizon, then the shape became clearer. One mast, two masts, square sails, fore and aft sails, a low hull, a dirty fast sloop. Maybe the stranger flew a friendly national flag, English, French, Dutch, Spanish, no skull, no black flag, nothing dramatic yet. That false flag was part of the trick. Pirates often did not show the truth right away. A black flag was a confession. Owning one could get a man hanged. Raising one too early gave the victim more time to run or prepare. So a pirate might come in looking harmless enough, a trader, a privateer, a vessel from a friendly nation. Then, when the distance closed and the victim had fewer options, the pirate changed colors. Now the pressure got real. The black flag did not always mean instant death. That is one of the biggest misunderstandings. The black flag was a threat with an offer inside it. Surrender now, and there may be mercy. Strike the colors. Stop running. Let us take the cargo. Let us take what we want. Do not make this expensive. The red flag was different. Red meant the offer was ending. Red meant no quarter. Red meant if the victim kept fighting, then the pirates were telling everyone on that deck that mercy might be gone. Was every pirate perfectly consistent about this? No. This was not a modern rulebook. But the message was understood well enough that flags became psychological weapons. And that is the key. The pirate crew wanted fear to do the work before iron had to do it. A good pirate captain understood theater. Blackbeard was famous for that. Edward Teach did not become terrifying only because he had guns. Plenty of men had guns. Blackbeard built a reputation, the huge beard, the slow matches, sometimes described under his hat, the wild image, the stories. His name arrived before his ship did. That mattered because a merchant captain did not just judge the number of cannon. He judged what he believed would happen if he resisted. Pirates of the Caribbean gives you the fantasy version. Big music, funny swagger, beautiful chaos. Black Sails gets closer in tone because it understands something important. Reputation is currency. On the real sea, a captain with a brutal name could take a ship faster than a captain with better guns. So picture the target now. A merchantman is running. The pirate is closing. The sailors on the merchant ship know the captain. Maybe they hate him. Maybe they are hungry. Maybe they have not been paid properly. Maybe half the crew was forced aboard in the first place. Maybe the ship has 6 little guns, but only 2 men who really know how to fire them. The captain orders them to prepare. Powder comes up, muskets come out, hatches are secured. The helmsman tries to keep the wind. Everyone watches the distance shrink. On the pirate ship, the mood is different. The deck is crowded. Pirates often carried more men than a merchant of similar size. That was part of the tactic. They did not need to sink the target. They needed enough bodies to swarm it. Pistols are checked. Cutlasses are brought out. Biting axes are ready. Pikes stand near the mast. Muskets and musketoons are loaded. Swivel guns on the rail are turned toward the enemy deck. The gun crews are told what to aim at, and this is where another myth dies. Pirates did not always aim to blow holes through the hull. A sunken ship is a bad prize. A burning ship is a problem. A smashed cargo hold is lost money. If the prize is carrying sugar, cocoa, tobacco, cloth, silver, weapons, medicine, rope, sales, neef, water, or enslaved people that the pirates plan to sell, then blasting the ship apart is not business. It is waste. So pirate cannon fire could be selective. A warning shot, a shot across the bow, a broadside that says we can reach you, chain shot or bar shot toward rigging and sails, round shot into the hull only if needed, grape shot or swivel guns to clear men from the deck before boarding. Every shot had a message. Do not think of a cannon as a sniper rifle. Smoothbore cannon in this period were loud, brutal, smoky, and not very accurate at long range. A captain often waited until close range because powder and shot were valuable. At close distance, a broadside could tear wood apart. It could punch splinters across the deck. It could cut rigging. It could kill men who never saw the ball. But at long range, a lot of cannon fire was noise and hope. The smartest pirate did not want a long artillery duel. He wanted the target slowed, scared, and isolated. If the target kept running, the pirate tried to ruin movement, hit the sails, hit the lines, hit the rudder if a shot presented itself, kill speed, kill steering, force the ship to fall off the wind. Once a sailing vessel lost control, it stopped being a vehicle and became a place where men waited for bad news. Sometimes the pirate had chase guns. These were guns pointed forward or backward to fire during pursuit. A bow chaser could fire at a fleeing target. A stern chaser could fire at a pursuer. On a small ship, every gun mattered. A few shots into rigging at the right moment could change the entire chase. But the other ship could answer. A merchant captain was not always helpless. Some ships were armed. Some had experienced sailors. Some were privateers. Some carried soldiers. Some had valuable enough cargo to justify a fight. And if the target was large with high sides, boarding became dangerous. Pirates might have to come alongside under musket fire while the defenders dropped heavy objects, fired pistols, sung pikes, and cut grappling lines. This is why many pirate victories were not about courage. They were about reading the target correctly. The pirate captain asked himself a simple question. Can I make this crew quit before this turns ugly? If yes, he pressed harder. The pirates might scream from the rail. Beat drums, Daffasar muskets, wave blades. Show numbers. Daffasar one brutal broadside. Then pause. That pause was part of the negotiation. It gave the merchant captain time to think. It also gave the merchant crew time to think. And that could be deadly for the captain. Because the crew might decide that the cargo belonged to owners far away. The captain wanted honor. The crew wanted to live. A merchant captain who resisted too long risked more than pirate violence. He risked his own men turning against him. If the sailors believed resistance was pointless, they might refuse to fight. They might pressure him to strike the colors. They might simply stop obeying. That moment was exactly what pirates wanted. Now let us walk through a real style of attack from start to finish. Morning, Caribbean water, early 1700s. A merchant sloop is sailing north of Hispaniola toward the Windward Passage. It carries sugared hides, maybe some coin. The crew is small, maybe a dozen men. The captain has a few cannon but not enough trained hands. A strange sloop appears behind and to windward. At first it flies a friendly flag. The merchant keeps moving. The stranger is faster. After an hour, the distance is smaller. After another hour, the merchant captain knows the truth but cannot prove it. He orders more sail. The crew works the lines, the hull creaks, the ship leans, speed it increases. Not enough, the stranger comes closer. Men appear along the rail. Too many men, then the false flag comes down. A black flag goes up. That is the real jump scare. No ghost ship, no tentacle monster. Just cloth, a piece of black cloth that tells every sailor aboard the merchant ship that the law has disappeared. The pirate fires a warning shot. The ball throws water near the bow. The merchant captain does not strike. He hopes to reach a friendly port. He hopes the pirate gives up. He hopes the wind shifts. Hope is not a tactic, but sometimes it is all a man has. The pirate closes more. Now muskets crack. A smoke drifts across the water. A swivel gun fires from the pirate rail. The sound is smaller than a main cannon, but nastier at close range. The merchant crew ducks. One man lets go of a line. Another refuses to stand near the rail. The captain curses him. The pilot tells the captain that the pirate is gaining. Now comes the broadside. Not a full Hollywood explosion. A short, close, violent answer. The pirate guns fire into rigging and the upper hull baroques shatter. Lines whip loose cantiers. The merchant ship loses speed. The captain tries to turn, but the ship answers badly. The pirate cuts across the stern. That is a nightmare position. A shot fired along the length of a ship can travel through crowded spaces and do far more damage than a shot into the side. The merchant captain finally orders the colors down, battle over. Nobody has crossed a deck. Nobody has had a heroic duel. The pirates cheer because this is the best outcome. The prize is still floating. The cargo is still valuable. The specialists are alive. The pirate crew can take food, water, powder, rope, spare sails, mundry, and maybe the ship itself. That was a successful pirate battle. Now look at the version where it goes wrong. Same sea, same chase, same flag. But this time the merchant captain refuses. Maybe he has soldiers aboard. Maybe his cargo belongs to powerful owners and he fears punishment if he surrenders. Maybe he is brave. Maybe he is stubborn. Maybe he thinks the pirate is bluffing. The pirate raises the pressure. More shots, more smoke, more damage to rigging. The vessels come side by side. This is the most dangerous moment. Two wooden ships under sail do not park neatly beside each other. They roll, they drift, they grind, they slam together. Men throw grappling hooks and lines to hold them close. The defenders try to cut those lines. The attacker tries to pull the ships tight. If the sea is rough, the gap opens and closes. A man can fall between hulls and be crushed. A ladder can slip. A rope can snap. A pistol can misfire because powder got damp. A grenade can land wrong. A cannon can recoil across a deck if its tackle fails. This is not a clean arena. It is a workplace turned into a panic room. Before boarding, pirates tried to clear the enemy deck. Muskets, pistols, swivel guns, Dudladyar grapeshot grenades. Anything that made defenders duck. The goal was not to look cool. The goal was to create 3 seconds of space. 3 seconds is enough for the first boarders to get over the rail. Those first boarders had the worst job. The first man over might be shot, stabbed with a pike, hit by an axe, knocked back into the sea if he survived. He had to make room for the second man, then the third, then 10 more. Boarding was a traffic jam with blades. Forget the long, elegant sword fights. A ship deck was cramped. It had ropes, guns, hatchways, cargo, broken wood, bodies, powder, smoke, water, blood. Loose equipment, men screaming different orders. You did not have space for some perfect fencing lesson. The cutlass was popular because it was short enough for close work. Pistols were usually one shot. After that, a pistol became a club or got dropped. The boarding axe was a weapon and a tool. It could cut rope, a hatch, hook a rail, or open a path. Pikes kept men back. Musketoons and blunderbusses were terrifying at close range, but wet powder could make them useless at the worst moment. A real boarding fight could be decided by morale faster than skill. Once defenders believed the deck was lost, many stopped fighting. Some jumped below. Some threw down weapons. Some begged for quarter. Some kept fighting and died where they stood. In that smoke, nobody had perfect control. A captain could shout all he wanted. Comrades vanished under gunfire and panic. This is why pirates wanted surrender before boarding. Boarding was profitable only if it worked fast, if it dragged on. It became a meat grinder. The pirate crew might win and still lose too many men to sail both ships. They might capture a prize and discover their own vessel was damaged. They might lose the carpenter who could repair the hull. They might lose the navigator who knew the route. They might win cargo and lose the ability to escape the navy. A pirate ship was not a national navy with endless replacements. It was a floating criminal company. Skilled men mattered. The carpenter mattered. The sailmaker mattered. The gunner mattered. The surgeon mattered. The pilot mattered. Even ordinary sailors mattered because sails did not move themselves. A dead specialist could cost more than a chest of silver. This is the part Hollywood usually skips. After the action, someone has to keep the ship alive. If pirates captured a vessel, they inspected it fast. Was the hull sound? Was the cargo worth moving? Was the ship faster than their own? Did it have better guns? Did it have food? Did it have water? Could it be sold? Could it be burned? Could it be used as a new flagship? Could the captured crew be forced or tempted to join? Pirates often took more than treasure. They took sails, rope, medicine, toll, weapons, charts, clothing, alcohol, anchors, spare canvas. They might take the whole ship if it was useful. A fast, clean hull could be worth more than some cargo. Pirate Captain William Fly once made clear that he wanted to test whether a captured sloop was a better sailor than his own vessel. That was practical thinking. Better speed meant better hunting and better escape. Now let us talk about intimidation, because it was not random madness, it was strategy. Pirate reputation worked because it reduced the need for combat. If merchants believed a certain captain spared crews that surrendered but punished resistance, the choice became obvious: surrender fast and live, resist and suffer. That pattern helped pirates take prizes without destroying them. Fear was efficient. But reputation could also trap a pirate. If a pirate became known for cruelty no matter what victims did, then some targets might fight harder because surrender no longer felt safer. Smart terror has a logic. Dumb terror creates enemies who have nothing left to lose. Blackbeard understood image. Bartholomew Roberts understood discipline. Henry Every understood opportunity. These men were different, but the successful ones knew piracy was not just fighting. It was timing, pressure, organization. An escape. Take Henry Every in 1695. He was not just cruising the Caribbean with a bottle of rum. He and other pirates waited near the route of the Mughal treasure fleet, returning from the Red Sea toward India. The huge prize was the Ganges-Sawai, a powerful ship connected to the Mughal world and carrying enormous wealth. Every first took the escort Fateh Muhammad. Then he chased the larger prize. The Ganges-Sawai had many guns and hundreds of armed men and passengers. On paper, it should have been a nightmare target, but battle is not paper. One of the Mughal guns reportedly exploded and caused confusion. Every's broadside damaged the mainmast, then the pirates boarded. The fight turned into close combat. The result was one of the most infamous pirate seizures in history. The aftermath was brutal, and it caused a diplomatic crisis between England and the Mughal Empire. That raid shows both sides of pirate battle: smart hunting, careful route choice, and then extreme violence once the deck was taken. Now take Blackbeard at Ocracoke on November 22, 1718. This was not pirates hunting a merchant. This was the hunter getting hunted. Lieutenant Robert Maynard came after him with 2 sloops in the shallow waters of North Carolina. The shoals mattered. The grounding mattered. The channels mattered. This was not just men with swords. It was geography. Maynard knew Blackbeard had to be drawn into a close fight. When Blackbeard boarders came onto Maynard's vessel, Maynard's men surged up from below decks. The fight became close and ugly. Pistols, cutlasses, smoke, bodies on a small deck. Blackbeard was shot several times and cut many more before he died. That battle is famous because it is dramatic, but it was also proof of the rule. Once boarding began, control vanished fast. Another useful case is Stede Bonnet at the Cape Fear River in September 1718. Bonnet was the so-called gentleman pirate. His fight with Colonel William Rhett near the mouth of the Cape Fear River turned into a messy battle shaped by sandbars. Ships ran aground. Crews fired while stuck. Movement was limited by the river mouth. It was not a clean blue water duel. It was local water shoals, bog choices, and stubborn men. Bonnet lost and was later hanged in Charleston. Again, the environment was part of the tactic, the map mattered. So when someone asks how a pirate battle worked, the answer starts with this. The sea decided the menu, the wind decided the speed, the hull decided the options, the crew decided the courage, the captain decided how much risk was worth the prize. Let us break down the full sequence. Step 1 defined the target. Pirates searched where trade had to pass, near islands, near straits, near ports, near convoy routes, near fishing fleets, near the edges of empire where law arrived late. A lonely ship was better than a protected convoy. A slow merchant was better than a fast privateer. A rich cargo was better than a heroic fight. Step 2. Identify the target. A good crew watched the rig, the size, the gun ports, the number of men visible, the trim of the ship, the flags, the course. A heavily loaded ship sat lower in the water. A nervous ship changed sail badly. A disciplined ship answered quickly. A weak crew made mistakes before any shot was fired. Step 3. Take position. The pirate wanted the wind advantage if possible. He wanted to close from a useful angle. He wanted to prevent escape. He wanted to keep away from the strongest broadside until it was time. Against a bigger ship, he might avoid sitting beside the enemy guns. Against a smaller ship, he might crowd it fast and force panic. Step 4. Reveal the threat. Colors down. Black flag up, warding shot. Men visible on deck, maybe drums, maybe shouting, maybe muskets, maybe a red flag if resistance continued. This was a staged pressure campaign. Step 5. Damage movement if needed. Aim at rigging, sails, lines, masts, steering. Put the victim in a bad position. A ship that cannot run has to choose surrender or close fight. Step 6. Close the distance. Come alongside. Avoid the worst angle. Use smoke and noise. Use the railguns. Use muskets. Use grenades if the crew has them. Make defenders flinch. Step 7. Grapple, hooks and lines go out. Men pull the ships together. Defenders cut lines. Attackers throw more. The two ships scrape and slam. The first boarders move. Step 8. This is not heroic ballet. It is a shove through a doorway with knives. The goal is to get enough men across quickly. Take the rail, take the waist. Take the hatchways. Push toward the quarterdeck. The defender's morale. Step 9. Secure the ship. Disarm the crew. Hind the captain. Hind the papers. Hind the keys. Post guards at the hatchways. Stop fires. Check the magazine. Check the bilge. Check the cargo. Keep your own men from getting too drunk too fast, because that could turn victory into disaster. Step 10. Decide the prize. Keep it. Strip it. Ransom it. Burn it. Sink it if there is no choice. Force some crew to join. Release prisoners, maroon enemies, take specialists. Every decision depends on risk. Distance, cargo, weather, and pursuit. That is also why the most valuable shot might be the one that scared instead of killed. A warning shot near the bow. A burst of grape shot over the deck. A cannonball through rigging. A black flag at close range. These were tools to make the other side calculate survival. The pirate wanted the merchant captain to see the future, not a glorious last stand. A broken crew, damaged ship, cargo lost anyway, men dead for someone else's profit. For the merchant crew, surrender could be humiliating but rational. Many sailors knew the cargo was insured or owned by merchants far away. Their own wages might be small. Their lives were not worth a warehouse of sugar in London or a chest of silver in Cadiz. So pirates attacked the relationship between captain and crew. They made obedience feel expensive. This is a brutal truth about sea combat. Morale is not a soft thing. Morale is hardware. Morale moves the guns. Morale pulls the lines. Morale keeps men on the rail when the other ship is coming in. Break morale and the ship is already half taken. Now let us talk about the weapons without turning this into a museum tour. The cutlass was not magic. It was practical, short, heavy enough, useful in cramped spaces. A rapier looks elegant in a duel, on a crowded wet deck with ropes everywhere. Elegance can get you killed. The boarding axe was even more practical. It could cut rigging, brick doors, hook wood, and fight. The pike gave reach. It helped defenders keep boarders off the rail. Pistols were close-range tools. Most were single shot. Fire once and then draw steel. Muskets couldn't matter before the ships touched, but they were slow to reload. Musketoons and blunderbusses threw a spread at close range and could terrify men packed together. Grenades created noise, smoke, fraffensbaffisar, and confusion. They also endangered the thrower if the timing went wrong. Cannons came in different sizes. Pirate ships often carried guns taken from other vessels. That meant mismatched weapons, different shot, different performance, different problems. A Navy ship trained for repeated accurate fire. Pirates could have skilled gunners, but sustained cannon duels were not their favorite game. A pirate wanted the cannon to open the door, not become the whole story. And then there were the dirty details nobody puts on toy pirate ships. Smoke made it hard to see. Black powder smoke thickened fast. Men coughed. Eyes burns got lost. Sparks could find powder. Water made decks slick. Blood made them worse. Broken rigging created trip hazards. Splinters from cannon fire could wound men without a ball touching them. A falling block from high rigging could kill. A torn sail could blind part of the deck. A loose gun could crush a foot or leg when the ship rolled. This is why a real pirate boarding action probably looked less heroic and more chaotic. The first minute mattered. If pirates got enough men aboard and defenders cracked, it was over. If defenders held the rail and kept boarders bottled up, the pirates were in trouble. Attackers hate bottlenecks. Every man waiting behind the first boarder is useless until he can cross. The defending captain had options too. He could run. He could try to keep the weather advantage. He could throw cargo overboard to gain speed if desperate. He could arm passengers. He could prepare anti-boarding weapons. He could load guns with grape at close range. He could aim at the pirate rigging and try to escape. He could pretend to surrender and then fire when the pirate came close. That last move was dangerous. If the trick failed, mercy might disappear. The final stage after capture could be calm or terrifying. If the victim surrendered early, pirates might take goods and leave. They might question the captain. They might beat someone. They might force the crew to hand over valuables. They might take specialists or volunteers. They might damage the ship so it could not quickly report them. They might let it go if the victim resisted. The treatment could be worse. Pirates used punishment as communication to future targets. Every survivor carried a story to port. That story could make the next ship surrender faster. This is horrific but important. Violence was not always an emotional outburst. Sometimes it was marketing by terror. So how did a pirate battle actually sound and feel in real life? Not one thing, it changed by target police weather to crew.shoot and captain. But the common pattern was pressure. A sail appears, a chase begins. The pirate tries to gain position. False colors hide the threat. The black flag reveals it. A warning shot speaks first. The target calculates. More sailed mar, panic mar, shouting. If the target refuses, cannon fire tries to cripple movement. Muskets and swivel guns clear the rail. Grappling hooks bite into wood. Ships slam together. Barders rush. The deck becomes smoke. Or blades. Boots, ropes, broken commands. Then suddenly it ends because one side breaks. That last word matters. Breaks. Most battles are not won when every enemy is dead. They are won when one side stops believing it can win. Pirates built their tactics around that. They did not need to be braver. They needed the target to feel alone. They did not need to destroy the ship. They needed to make resistance look useless. They did not need a fair duel. They needed the captain and crew to disagree about whether the cargo was worth dying for. If you want the most honest pirate battle scene, do not start with two captains smiling before a sword fight. Start in the silence before the flag changes. Start with a merchant sailor staring at a strange sloop that has been gaining for 2 hours. Start with a captain pretending he is calm. Start with a gunner who knows he has not trained enough. Start with a deckhand looking at the cargo and realizing none of it belongs to him. Then the black flag goes up. That is the moment. Because from that second on, the battle is already inside every man's head. The pirate has made his offer, surrender and maybe live, resist and maybe lose everything. And the cruel genius of piracy was that many times, the pirates never had to prove the threat. The victim believed it first.